Okay, so yeah, I'll be here today for this office hours sort of thing, where we're just going over requests that we have, and I'll be here this Thursday for that time as well, just doing the same thing, office hours. Okay, so we wanted to go over chapter 6 and some questions from chapter 6. Oh, what specifically do you think would be useful to approach it with?
So I emailed you the screenshots, but we can start with Olsen one.
Okay.
Where, we talked about weighted average method and all their materials are added when units are 50% complete. And it's total equivalent units with respect to D1.
Okay. You just barely sent me the email with a screenshot?
Yeah, I just seen it.
Okay. It's floating in the air between us right now. Just let's see. If I can get it. What was the end of the question there? Total equivalent units with respect to direct materials?
Yeah.
Okay. Not getting it. I don't know. Yeah. Didn't get sent to the U.Boise State, right? Okay. Yeah, that's the right one. Yeah, I got yours. That's what surprised me. I'm like, hey, you're both sending it to me.
Yeah, my email went like this year's.
Your email, it's going to inspire some email road rage here. All right, well, let's see if I can't find this very problem just in the quiz. I'll keep an eye on the email I have up here, whether it's come through or not. Why? Yeah, sorry, Kiana, your email is being mean to you here and not delivering very quickly, because I got Sam's as well, but I haven't gotten yours yet. So let me. Well, I'm guessing she did the right. So she read out, the one she read out is the right one. I don't know why it's being goofy. All right, Olsen. Ooh, Olsen. Okay, that's why it's unhappy.
Yeah. I just take a screenshot of it and then just open up the email and go to recess and just drag it. You said you got mine.
Yeah, I got yours here.
I got cannot be determined for an open answer, so I don't know if that's possible.
Wait, what?
I got a cannot be determined for an open answer. So I didn't know if that's possible. If it is, how to put that in. I assume I'm wrong.
Okay, I get it. I see what you're saying. Okay, is this the question here? I see Olsen. We're looking for weighted average total equivalent units for direct materials, and they're added with 50% complete. Are the numbers here the same that you can see, Kiana? Okay, let's see what the numbers you have are. Yeah, I forgot to open Excel. Let me check. Yes. Okay. Okay, let's find it.
The first question should be question number 6.
Okay. Let's download it and open it real quick. Yeah. Okay. So, Olson Company processes lumber and product medium density fiberboard. We have 1,000 square feet of beginning inventory, 25,500 square feet that were started or put into process during the period, and 1,500 square feet in ending work in process in February. Those ending work in processes were only 30% complete with respect to conversion costs. So all direct materials are added when the units are 50% complete with respect to conversion costs. So we have 0%, and then once they cross that 50% threshold, 100% of direct materials are added. So using the weighted average method, we're looking for the total equivalent units with respect to direct materials. All right, and so I have here okay. So pull up Excel. We'll call this question 6. This is email number 1. That we're going over. So question 6 is I think I see what you're doing here. So this is the beginning whip inventory, 25,500 added, and ending whip, and 25,000 sounds right to me because it's these first two, and then subtract away the third one. Yes, so that's the units completed. Good. So 25,000 units completed. 1,000 plus 25,500 minus 1,500. Now, what I'm not following, I think what happened then is we did the ending whip equivalent units, and you took those numbers that you got and added them together to end up right here. What we need to do is we need to follow the TEU equation because we're looking for TE total equivalent units to TEU units completed. So use that 25,000 plus ending whip equivalent units. And there's one more thing we can correct here, which is that given these details, these ending whip units, the 1,500 square feet that were in ending whip, they're only 30% complete on the conversion costs side, which means they haven't crossed that 50% threshold yet. So they are considered to have 0% completion with regard to direct materials. It's 1,500 times 0, so it's going to end up being ending whip equivalent units is 0 here. So it's just that 2,500. So that's right here, yeah. Okay, no problem.
Does the answer change under the FIFO?
Yes, the answer will change under the FIFO because it might. We don't have enough info to complete it under the FIFO method because we don't know beginning whip percent complete. So we don't know if these 1,000 square feet of beginning whip is 0% with regard to direct materials or 100% complete. So we don't know where it is. We don't know what its percent complete is on conversion costs, and therefore we can't use the dumpling rule here, the 50% rule here, to decide what it is on direct material side. So when we do the FIFO equation, which is this plus that, we don't know what that term is. If we knew what that term was, then yes, we would be able to figure out it for FIFO. And your question is, would it be different? Yeah, almost certainly would be different. Slightly different answer. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so let me go pop this back over and go. Is there another one you want to go to next, or just keep going through the questions? Well, let's look at them. 7247. What was that? That was here. Let's go here next. Or maybe we can group them a little bit. If there's another TEU question, I'll look at that one. All right, so here's a very similar question. Let's over. A similar question, but different numbers. This is the one I found in the quiz when I was looking through the quiz directly. 500 beginning WIP, 105,000 units started, and 1750 in ending WIP. And we have percent completes for the beginning WIP and the ending WIP. And so now, so this is question 4. So now we can figure out the FIFO TEU. So we have as our units completed 500 plus 105,000 minus 1750. So just in the cell, I'm coding in getting units completed out of these three numbers, physical units. We need our beginning WIP and our ending WIP equivalent units. So these beginning WIP units are 60% complete with respect to conversion costs. So they've passed the 50% threshold with regard to direct materials. Hopefully that came out clearly enough. So we're going to consider those to be 100% complete with respect to direct materials. These ending WIP units, they haven't passed that threshold, and so they're at 0% complete with respect to direct materials. So that's going to be add in here minus beginning WIP equivalent units. So that should be our answer for FIFO doing TEU. Right there. Does that make sense there, Yana? Okay. It's a good chance there'll be a question or two that shows up because chance, literally, because it is randomized, right? Good chance that a dumpling kind of problem will show up in your chat, one of your chapter 6 questions. So that is important. Remember, all I'm doing is I'm putting into text the decision rule of how to figure out what the percent complete is with respect to direct materials. I could have simply told you they're 60% complete with respect to conversion costs and 100% complete with respect to direct materials. I could have put those both in the parentheses right here. And I could have told you that these 1750 are 40% complete with respect to conversion costs and 0% complete with respect to direct materials. Instead, I've forced you to figure out the logic of the percent completion, because this is often the pattern that we have with direct materials and conversion costs.
Since it's FIFO, that's what we're subtracting.
Yeah, we're following the equation, the FIFO equation here, which includes, like you said, that's why we're subtracting this term right here. Whereas up here, we're just following this equation, which only has the addition of those two terms. Okay, let's come back out. All right, let's go see if there are. All right, here's the TEU question. Okay, this one's Springfield Spring Makers uses process costing to determine the cost of inventory. Uses the FIFO method. Or has the following inventory amounts. So let's see. We've been given. Look, we were given units completed. Great. Hey, I already gave you units completed. That's great. We use the FIFO method, so we're going to be calculating total equivalent units using this equation right here. This is question 1. Copy some things over here. Okay, units completed is already gave it to us 500, and we're looking for direct materials and conversion costs. All right, let's move this over. add some column labels. Okay, now beginning WIP equivalent units is 0 because there are 0 physical units. Ending WIP equivalent units looks like the ending WIP physical units are 50. So we have 50. And I gave you the percents complete. For direct materials, it's 25% complete. I'm just taking from the equation right here. Okay, it looks like that's what you did as well. For ending WIP, good, good. And then for conversion costs, I'm taking that 50 times, looks like 50% right here. So far, so good. 50 units completed. So here's where the mistake was on this work on this spreadsheet here. In this case, I didn't give you units started here. I already gave you the units completed. So you ended up taking this 500, adding 0, and then subtracting away the you calculated units completed. You didn't need to. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, subtracting by the 50 here to get 450. So that's what's going to throw off your numbers here. So you did 450 plus the 12.5 to get 462.5, and plus 25 to get 475. And really, it's this 500 plus those numbers. Yeah, that's just the occasionally the question gives you units completed already. All right, that's good. TEU. All right, here's an open answer TEU question under FIFO. So let's grab copying over some stuff. Let's grab this one. We're just looking for direct materials here. And we have a weird dumpling. It's not 50%, it's 11% dumpling rule right here. All direct materials are added. All direct materials when units are complete, 11% with respect to, are added. Let's fix a typo there. That's what that's supposed to mean. All right, so let's try and fill in some of these things. We have we're going to get units completed by taking 785, which is our beginning WIP physical units right here, which you have right there. Good, good. Plus the units started 29, 723, which is right there, minus the 759 physical units in ending work in process, which is right under this black, this almost opaque circle right here. 759 is the number there. 759. To get units completed. Yep, I'm agreeing with you on the units completed. That's good. With 785 units in beginning work in process that are 48% complete with respect to conversion costs. So that full 785 comes through because that 48% completion on the conversion cost scale has crossed the 11% threshold. So all 100% of direct materials have been added. So they're 100% complete with respect to direct materials. So 785 times 1. This is going to equal that 759 times 1 as well because they're 37% complete and therefore they've passed the threshold.
So I would try to rework the problem.
Okay, good, good. Well, this is the reworking of it?
Yeah.
Then that's what I got too. Same number here. Yeah. No problem. All right. Get that one. That one. All right. One more. I think this is the last TEU question that was what you sent over. Here we have weighted average method and another dumpling problem here. Let's see. WIP. So it looks like you have 12,273 is the sum of those two. Let's see. We had this plus this minus this equaling that. That should be right. Plus 480 ending whip equivalent units. Okay, I think if there's a mistake, it's this ending whip equivalent units right here. So let's recreate it, but I think that's where we're looking. That's where we're looking for the mistake here, because we have 544 plus 11729 minus 480. So 11793. Yep, that's the right units completed. Good. The ending whip equivalent units is going to be that 480 times 0%, because they are only 19% complete with respect to conversion costs, and they don't get their direct materials until they reach that 50% threshold. So they are 0% complete right now. So that I think is the reason why. Well, it was up there blank, but that would be the right answer for that one. Okay. All right, so let's look at some rate questions, some step 2 kind of questions, calculating the rates. So that requires us to get the TEU in the denominator and the numerator, and to use the right numerator is the idea. So this is another question 8. I think we used question 8 earlier. We'll call this question 8 open answer to differentiate it. All right, so I'm going to push through here. Looks like this is another dumpling problem. And so if, as far as the mistake, there's one mistake here. The 149 ending whip equivalent units is wrong, because those ending whip units haven't crossed the dumpling threshold yet. They're 27% complete, and they receive their direct materials at 69%. Yeah. Yeah. So assuming you did the units complete right, it'd be 10262 is both our units complete. That's what that cell right there says for units completed, which I would assume that's right. That is our TEU, or our denominator. And then the numerator, so I'm not sure what was in the cell here, but the numerator, because we're in weighted average, is the sum of the beginning whip costs and the current period costs. In this case, we're talking about direct materials. So 1145 and 115625. So I took this bullet point and this bullet point, I'm going to sum them, and that'll be our numerator. So take that numerator divided by the denominator, and we end up with 11.37. So I think you did sum those in the numerator, and it was just that denominator that was off a little bit. And it ends up being a small amount that it's off, really, 11.22 versus 11.37. I think that's where that's going. Okay, I think there's another rate question that you had in here. There's a conversion cost per equivalent unit using FIFO now. This is question 7. We're going to grab FIFO's TEU stuff right here. So 110 plus 9643 minus 209 will give us units completed of 9544. Yep, great. And we're looking for conversion costs, so we can just use these percents. Okay, I think this seems to me like what's going on with this one. It looks like these numbers would be right if we were doing direct materials, because they're all added at the beginning of the process. So they're 100% complete, the 110 beginning whip units and the 209 ending whip units. So those would be the equivalent units if we were talking about direct materials. But because we're talking about conversion costs, we need to multiply them by their percents here. Yes, exactly, yeah. So we end up with these two numbers instead of 110 and 209 right here. So our TEU denominator is going to be 9587. Looks like correctly we're in FIFO. Wait. Yeah, we copied that over from a FIFO. So we did the TEU right. And then correctly you So the numerator is going to be just the current period costs. So good. Yeah, not terribly far off, but just that small percent off from making sure these are prorated by their conversion cost percentages. Okay. Doing good. All right, now I think the last questions that you sent over here are the step 3 questions. So we've got one here that's about ending WIP, how much is the direct material cost in ending WIP, and another one which is the total cost. I think that's what you sent over to me. So this one's the ending WIP cost. It looks like we're going to have to go through the whole thing, which is fine. We can do that pretty quickly. We can copy over what we have. Here, we'll copy over this stuff because this has rate equations in it as well. This is question 6. It's also open answer. I don't know if we have another question 6 up ahead. Yeah, we do have a question 6 earlier. All right, so the TEU here. Let's see what you did over here. We've got units completed. That looks right to me. I'll use that 7722. And we're in weighted average method here, so we want to add in, and we're in direct materials as well. Okay, so we need to add in the ending WIP equivalent units for direct materials here, which is the 164. Good. And so then TEU should be the 7886 here. That's what I get to. Good. We need to copy over 541 and 12107. Just copying them over. It looks like that's what you did as well. Copy these over, and then we have DM cost rate. Oh, Oh, no, wait. Okay, I thought I was confused someplace where I was not confused. All right, we just need to worry about the direct materials cost rate, and I'm getting the same DM cost rate you got. Good. I think the problem is just copying this over. Copied over an answer choice that was not in here. This might be you reworking the problem right here. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. And so in that case, we need to multiply that rate by the ending WIP equivalent units of 164. Let's see if I get the same thing as you did. 263.032. Good. That is the ending WIP DM cost, which was what it's asking for. I didn't check the conversion cost side of your work here, but that 263 I get right as well. Good. So it looks like that was fixed just right. Well, we can do this one real quick. This is another ending WIP question, but it says total cost, weighted average. Even when these are 50% complete, direct materials are added. We are given the rates. So we're just doing step 3 here. We don't do step 1, step 2, and step 3. Just step 3. We have the rates. Looks like here are the 2 rates. We're going to be multiplying them by the ending WIP percent. And that 248 is the right number to be multiplying them by. I think that's probably what you're doing right here. Because they're past the 50% threshold. They're at 53% complete on the conversion cost side, which means they have 100% of their direct materials. So real quick, question 508. We have 23. I'll see if I got the same answers as you did here. And 17. And we have 248 for direct materials. Ending WIP equivalent unit. And I think a second ago I was talking as if we were still only doing direct materials, but just like you have worked here, it's asking for totals. We need to also do the conversion cost. And so 248 times 0.53, 131.44. Good. That's conversion cost, ending WIP equivalent units. So multiply these rates by their equivalent units. Yeah. Good. I get the same answers you did with this. Good. Okay, now let's see if we can get I think there were a question, still a question about the total cost. Okay, I think this is the last one that you sent me. All right, so this is going to ask us for direct materials costs for units completed and transferred out. And we have to do all three steps. It's in weighted average though, so that's a little easier. Let's see, is this weighted average one? We copied over. No, we summed two. Oh yeah, we did that right. I'm going to copy over from this question right here. We're doing question 8 OA again, because we're all question 8 is common for the open answer ones because they're at the end of the quiz potentially here. All right, so looking at what you reworked here, looks like a different problem actually. I think this is a different problem you're doing here. Okay, so let's just look. We'll look through this problem right here. We'll do it real quick. All right, so I get 207 plus 7268 minus 166. That's our units completed. That's the first part of TEU. And we need to add in the ending WIP equivalent units, which is 166 times 100%. So they're all, since all direct materials are added at the beginning of the process, we end up with plus 166. So that's what I get for TEU for here. Sorry. I subtracted it. So right here, what I did is because I'm not being very organized, that's why. Units completed is these first three terms. So I'm just doing 207 beginning WIP plus units started minus 166 units completed, just physical units. And then I'm taking that plus the ending WIP equivalent units, which is 166 in this case, because they're 100% complete with respect to direct materials. Does that make any sense there?
When would you not add it again if that number was less than 11?
Well, this problem, this isn't one of the dumpling problems here.
Oh.
So this one says all direct materials are added at the beginning of the process.
Oh.
Does that make sense?
Mine says 32.
Yeah. So if it weren't past that, you just don't worry about adding it, or add 0 is what you're doing. Does that make sense? Yeah. If it's a dumpling problem and it hasn't passed that threshold.
And they'll say.
Yeah, it should say.
Thank you.
Okay. Does that make sense now? What I'm doing with TEU here, Fiona? Okay. All right. 1135 is our beginning WIP. 12652 is our current period direct materials cost. I'm just copying that over from the problem. So our total, our numerator here is 13,787. I'm getting that 13,787 over the 7475 as 1.84. And so when you answer this originally, this is a different problem right over here. But when you answer this originally, you got the correct answer for the rate of direct materials cost. That is the cost rate for direct materials. What it's asking, though, is the direct materials cost for the units completed. Because we're in weighted average, it's much simpler. Or relatively simple. We can just take that rate, multiply it by units completed, and be done. So that should be the answer there. Does that make any sense where it's going?
How do you get that 126?
I copied this over just from the problem. Current period direct materials cost.
It's hard to see.
Yeah, I'll zoom in this a little bit. That might help. Since your work, Kiana, was from a different problem, we can zoom in just on what the question says here. Yes, this down here, the 13,480.83. This one, I just took the numerator, which is the sum of the beginning WIP cost for direct materials and the current period direct materials cost, and divided it by the TEU we calculated. Yeah. That's just me taking units completed plus 166, which is the ending WIP complete units. We're in weighted average, right? Sorry. The 1.84, I just multiplied that by the units completed 7309. Yeah. That right there. Now, if it were FIFO, just this last step, just the last step, we would have to take do I want to bother talking about the last step? If it were FIFO, it would be different. How about that? We can do a FIFO problem separately instead of trying to adapt this one and confusing it. The key I want to make is, I'll say it out loud. So if it were FIFO, instead of just taking this rate and multiplying it by units completed, we'd have to take the rate, multiply it by units completed minus the beginning WIP equivalent units. And then we would have our amount of direct materials cost for units for work done this period, for equivalent unit work done this period. And then we would add in the beginning WIP cost after that point. 1135 is when we would add that in. We would do different things. Of course, I'm reminding you, you remember this, I'm sure. We've done different things in calculating up till that point. But if we're just talking about step 3 here, we have an extra step, 2 extra steps. We have to change what units completed. We're not worried about total units completed. We're worried about work done this period, which is units completed minus beginning WIP work. And then we have to add in at the end beginning WIP costs. Those were the first in costs, they're the first out. They have to be in the units completed. Okay, sorry for a little ramble there. I think I got the questions you sent me kind of good. All right. So the next one I received, whether that's fair or not, because Google's really weird about what who it's letting send me questions, is Haley's. So we've got a couple questions here. I'll pour it over. Price Company produces grape juice in a continuous process. We use weighted average, and looks like we have rates. Okay, so this is the question stem here is asking about total costs of units completed and transferred out. So we're step 3. This is a step 3 question, and we were given our step 2 information, which is great. That's great. And so what we can do, let me go back to the Excel spreadsheet real quick. We're really just doing this cell right here is all we're doing. Twice, we need to do once for direct materials and once for conversion costs. But because we're in weighted average, we can take this $15 and multiply it by the 80,000, and we get our total direct material cost for units completed and transferred out. And we take this 450 times 80,000, and we get our total conversion cost for units completed and transferred out. Sum those, we get the total cost of units completed and transferred out. We don't need it. Nope. It's the red herring. Yep. It's that sneaky professor. So let's just run that out real quick. All right. So this is email number 2 we're going over. All right, so I'm organizing it. For better or worse. All right. Price Company. We have $15 is our DM rate. I'll move that down. DM and conversion cost. And $450 is our conversion cost rate. Over. Okay, we have 80,000 as our units completed. I'll even include the idea this is weighted average. That's why we can do it so simply. Then we can simply multiply and sum. Multiplied $15 times 80,000 to get 1.2 million. Multiplied 80,000 times 4.5 to get 360,000, which means in the end we have 1.56 million, or this answer right here. No? Okay. Well, it's asking something different.
Yeah.
Here we do need the ending WIP, but
But do you need the completed and transferred out?
No.
You just multiply.
Yep.
those and add them.
Yeah. And since I already told you this is the equivalent units, you just multiply just straight that number. Yep. Yeah.
For that one, what if it was 5 instead?
We couldn't do it. We don't have enough. This one we could do. 5.4 weighted average. But the other one, we couldn't do it because we need to know this 80,000 minus the beginning WIP equivalent units. We don't have the beginning WIP equivalent units or the foundational information to calculate beginning WIP equivalent units. This right here? It's the one time they are exactly the same. Yep, exactly. Yeah, we would, for FIFO or for weighted average, we just take the rate, multiply it by ending WIP equivalent units, and that's our cost for that cost category. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just emphasizing what you said. You're right. Yep. Okay. Next email I got was Sam's. Okay, and I got another one from you too. We'll just do both yours together. How about that? Email number 3. All right. So different topic. That's fine. That's good. We get a little variety. Like that better. Okay, so this is an approximate ABC question. So with this one, let's see. What is the new activity cost pool for cost pool A? All right, so we have these. We went through all the ABC process. We figured out 7 different cost pools, A through G. And what a cost pool means is these costs are correlated with a particular cost driver. But we think it's going to be too expensive to measure all 7 cost drivers all the time. And we've noticed that there are 2 big ones, A and D, the 2 largest activity cost pools. And the rest of them are like little tiny moons around these 2 big planets. And so we don't want to track those other small dollar 5 cost drivers. We just want to track A and D. And this question is saying, well, once you have made the necessary adjustment, what is the new total for A? It's not 206, 285, it's something bigger than that. So the way we do this is prox ABC question. We know we have 206, 285. Let's copy that down. And that's cost pool A. We know we have cost pool D, the other planet-sized high dollar cost pool. And what we're going to do is we're going to sum them. This is the total high dollar cost pool amount. And then we're going to say, we're going to figure out percentages. So of the high dollar cost pools, cost pool A is 56.8% of the high dollar cost pools. We just took cost pool A amount divided by the total here. And that's all we need for this question. But just for completeness, we would do the same thing here for cost pool D. Right. So now we can take all of our small dollar cost pools, copying them down just from the problem. So that's the 5. 1193, 7116, 21517, 11100, 5708. And I can sum those. I think I said low dollar in the textbook. Low dollar cost pool amount, total, whatever. And what I want to do is I want to take 56.8% of this low dollar cost pool amount and add it to cost pool A. So this is going to cost pool A. So once it's gone there, this is the new cost pool A. 238,906.8. So which is just the original amount plus its share of the low dollar cost pools. Does that make sense? Any cell you want to see in there? Okay, it liked it. Sorry. What did you say? Yeah, no problem. Let's go together. Your other email here. All right, back to chapter 6, which is fine. It's all right. No, it's okay. We'll look at it. All right. So we have the weighted average method, we're being asked for direct materials cost per equivalent unit. So what we need to figure out a numerator and a denominator. Now, luckily, I've given you a lot of info here. I've already done TEU. So of 3 steps, this is a step 2 question, and I did step 1 for you. I don't always do that. It's a special occasion. I did TEU for you. So TEU is our denominator when we do rates. So 27 TEU, which is denominator. The numerator, since we're in weighted average, is going to be the sum of beginning WIP costs and current period costs with respect to what? Well, direct materials we're looking for. So we have 2,500, we have 52,000. Sum them, and that is our numerator. So put the numerator on top, denominator in the bottom, we end up with $2 even. So that'll be the answer on this one, yeah. Okay. You raised your hand there? No? Yes?
Yeah.
But you're thinking about it still.
When it says all direct materials when units are 63% cost, is that in the beginning and ending?
You reading out my typo there?
Is
My
that
mistake?
Okay.
Yes. It's going to be it's true for beginning and ending.
Okay.
Right.
I didn't know. Okay.
Yep. No, it's fine. It's fine. We do salt in the wound here. That's fine. We would have to be, because if we did it only for one, the problem is that this period's ending WIP is next period's beginning WIP. It has to. It's cyclical. It's gonna work the same one way or the other. Okay. Let's go to. I have at least one more email. We have Garrett. Weighted average question here. We'll look at big. We'll see big here. All right. We have weighted average method and looking for the direct materials cost of units completed and transferred out. We have the completed units, which is great because with the weighted average method, all we're doing is we're looking for a rate to multiply by units completed or completed units, which is great. And looks like we have the rate. So here, one of the big risks, I don't know if this is one you're looking at, one of the risks that might be tempting you. One of the risks here is to make this more complicated than it needs to be. Really, we're looking to multiply 1277 by 15,000, and that's literally it.
That's what I did, but I didn't know if I was doing it right.
Yeah.
I know like this one has like a risk to it.
Yes. Oh, go away. That's the best thing about ChatGPT now, is that my random talking to the computer might actually talk back at me. Okay, we have 12.77. That's the best thing, but maybe that's not a good thing. 12.77, that's our DM rate, and 15,000. It sounds like you did that. That's what you got? Okay, so that should be the right answer. We'll zoom in here. 191550. Yeah, that should be the right answer there. Let me double check. Just make sure. Yes. Yeah. And if it weren't, if it were FIFO, we do have enough info to complete this problem under the FIFO method too. We just have a couple extra steps. Now, this isn't your question, I know, but this one I can more easily recreate what we're doing. And we don't have to do steps 1 and step 2 under FIFO differently. We just assume this is the same rate. This is the right rate under FIFO. We did all the calculations right under FIFO. We got 1277 as the rate. First, we need to take 15,000 and subtract away the beginning WIP equivalent units, which is, in this case, 150 times 0.8. Because that's what this sentence right here says. We have 150. Nope. I read it wrong. We can't do it. Man. I'm so excited. I thought it was 150 in beginning WIP. If it were beginning WIP, then we could subtract it away. I'm not going to put that in there. If it were FIFO, and if it were here, and if we were in a parallel universe where green is red, or whatever. Now, No, that's too much. Anyway, we would have to do 2 extra steps. Just like I said last time, we would have to subtract away the beginning WIP equivalent units, multiply 1277 by that, and then we would be able to add this beginning WIP number. So yeah, I bet there is one where I put in this exact same data set or the same pattern with different numbers and asked you to do it with FIFO. And if it's exactly like this, it says ending WIP right here. It does not give you any beginning WIP information. We couldn't complete it. You have one that looks like that?
Yeah, but I think you do say, yeah, it's a 6,000 units with 45 perspective direct materials.
Okay.
5,000, and then you said units ending.
Okay. So yeah, there are some where I add that detail so you can do it. I'm sure I created one that has this very same fact pattern or something like it and does not tell you beginning WIP, so you can't do it, just to see if I can trick you that way. All right, let's see, any emails I've gotten? Anybody sent an email? Oh, got some more. One more here. It's a good one. It's a good one. Let's look at this one. I spoke too soon. I was gearing up. Okay, so here we have, we're looking for the total cost, which means we're looking for direct materials and conversion costs. That's an important aspect. That's why I bolted it. Of units completed and transferred out. So that's the step 3 question. And hey, cool. We have the rates given to us already. So it's just a step 3 question. It's under weighted average. So we need to figure out the units completed and transferred out times, we need to figure out units completed and transferred out. Email 5. So with this one, what we're tempted by is often I have the pattern of beginning WIP, units started, ending WIP, giving you that information. One of the temptations will be to think I'm doing that and then calculate units completed based off that. Say 1575 plus 150,000 minus 2,500. But look carefully, I actually gave you units completed right here. Is that what? So we have 150,000 units completed. That's the same for both conversion costs and direct materials. And we have our rates given to us. And we're in weighted average, we can just be multiplying and then adding together. So it should be this number right here, the total cost of units completed and transferred out, because we're just looking at units completed times the rate. So that should be where that works. I'm sorry. So if it were FIFO, okay. Yeah. You want me to do it? You have one? You do have the one that's FIFO?
Yeah, and mine's actually
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad. You want me to talk about that one? Good. You just take these rates times the ending WIP equivalent units. As long as you've done that correct. The one place you can mess up on that, if it's got this exact same pattern here, is that we have this dumpling situation with direct materials. So the ending WIP equivalent units for direct materials is actually 0. So you can multiply 12.5 times 0 because these ending WIP units haven't crossed the threshold yet. And so they're 0% complete. The ending WIP equivalent units for conversion cost is 25% of 2,500, which is 750? 625?
Yeah, mine says they're all the
Perfect. Yeah. In that case, they're 100% complete with respect to direct materials and whatever percent complete with respect to conversion cost that it says. Okay. I'll snag back my email here. I don't see. Any more emails here? Any floating in the ether? Okay. Any questions you have you want to bring up? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. That's right. Yeah. This is the one you were talking about just now?
Yeah, I just want to make sure. So for this one, all hands
Yeah,
are
no problem.
in the beginning, and this is the ending with.
Mm-hmm.
So I did this for DM, and for this for CC, and then I multiplied this with DM. This.
Looks good to me. Yeah.
Summed it.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
Thank you. And for if it says like 50% complete, and this doesn't.
Yep. Hasn't crossed the threshold yet. Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I did multiply by 1 for DM, or should I multiply by this?
Oh. Yeah. So it's the DM that would be 0%
Oh, it's the DM.
because it hasn't crossed the threshold.
Oh, because DM. Okay.
But that one
And
gets
then-
multiplied by its 44%.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh, good. Got another question in here.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, let's one more. Right? We're not done yet. Got an email. I don't know how long ago it was sent. Oh, okay. All right. So chapter 10 stuff here. Let's look at the question big here. All right. Downside up incorporated. Now I'm just phoning it in with the names at this point. Use a step down, and we at the end. What am I looking for? I'm looking for department 2 to X. Looks like department 2 is the bottom step, so we are going to have to do a little bit of work to figure out the first step. So we need 2 to X, but we also need to know 1 to 2 because department 1's costs are allocated first. So let's go over here. This is email 6. It does that. Stop doing that. And I'll make it a little smaller now, unfortunately. I'm going to zoom in a little less. That's good enough. It's good as like, oh, nasty resolution. Let's focus in on this. Maybe that. Keep resolution. Yeah, that's probably enough space to work with in Excel. We're going to go vertically mostly. Okay, so we need to know, we're looking ultimately for 2 to X, but we need to know 1 to 2 first. Excuse me. So, all right, so department 1 serves everybody in this first row. So we have 3,000 units of whatever the cost driver is that are consumed by department 2. So 1 serving 2 is 3,000 out of, looks like a total of 6,000. So that is 2's consumption of 1's services, 50%. Half of 1's work is done to serve department 2. So department 1 has $100,000. So it's going to push $50,000 there. This is 1 to 2. It's going to push 50,000 of its costs over to department number 2. So department number 2 doesn't have the 200,000. It has 200,000 plus its allocation. So this is 2's costs after top step allocation. So 1, the top step, pushed $50,000 to it. So now it has $250,000 costs. And now we can figure out how much it serves X. So it serves X 120 units of whatever that is. And we're going to only include in the denominator production departments and any downstep service departments, of which there are none. So just 120 plus 200 in the denominator, I get 0.375. So to X, I'm going to get 93,750. Is that what you got, or that work?
I added the 90. That's why there's no way I'm getting right behind
Yeah. That would, that's where it would be wrong, yeah. Yeah, just include those two. Okay. Yeah, no problem. When I saw the subject step down, I thought, oh, there's a message there. I'm being played off the stage.
Oh no, I was just like putting step down to the problem.
No, I eventually I figured it out, but when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, thanks for the guidance here. Yeah, I'm rambling on, aren't I? All right, other questions we want to go over, or things we want to review real quick? Things we want to review. We got 8 minutes left in the class period if we want. Sure, it might arrive before the 8 minutes are up, depending on how internet's doing now.
Do you want to do a step down one?
Sure. Well, I love step down ones. They're great. Yeah. You got an open answer one? Might be of interest? Oh, gotcha.
I had a whole quiz just now with no open answer. Oh, no, I have one. I mean,
Unfortunately, the way it works is that means that you use up your good luck on the review quiz instead of the final. You should have saved it. Save the good luck. That's how it works, right? Yeah, you should trust me at a casino. That's with that logic. Okay. Make it. Take care.
Well, it's a FIFO method, so
Mhm.
but total cost of units completed and transferred out, it gives units completed for both.
Yep.
And it
Yep.
gave the cost up there, so I just multiply and add those together.
No.
Okay, see, that's why.
This is finally, if it were FIFO, has come to pass because it is FIFO. This is the FIFO question I've been looking for.
Well, you're welcome.
There you go. All right. We'll finally have email 7. So I've also been fighting with it, creating new tabs, and so finally I get to create a new tab because it wanted me to do that a while ago. All right, so we have our two rates. If only it were so simple. I wish it were. No. What I've said in the last 3 problems is true for the weighted average. Units completed and the rate. Now what we need equivalent units completed with this period's rate. A nice, succinct, I'm being sarcastic. That's what I say, and it's at the very end. I know where it is. It's the very end of here. This last, this is, oh, no, not the last. I lied. Next to the last. FIFO method here. Equivalent units completed with this period's work. We need to know what we did with this period's work. Oh, okay, what's up? So we don't, not 2,700, it's 2,700 minus the beginning whip work, beginning whip equivalent units. So I'm going to give myself another row here. In that case, we have equivalent units in beginning whip, 100 times 1, which is just 100 for direct materials. For conversion costs, we have 100 times 0.4, because it says they're 40% complete. That's our beginning whip EU. So we just take 2,700 minus this, the beginning whip equivalent units. And that gives us how many equivalent units worth of work we did with this period's rate. And now we can multiply that by 2,600. And we're almost done. That's the one part of the extra step, the first extra step with FIFO. and then we add the beginning WIP costs. Yes. Sorry, I didn't know if that was what you meant by back in. Yeah. And then we can sum them all together. Is that following okay? So I get 2,679,500, which is this one right here. I also can improve this question by making 2.7 million have a dollar sign in front of it, so it doesn't look so out of place. Yes. Last minute addition, so I could get a fourth distractor in there. This is a Wikipedia. Okay. Oh, there's one more. I got another email here. That's the other step down question, I think. Another one. Okay. Another step down. We'll look at it big. Oh, resolution. Sometimes it pops, sometimes it doesn't. All right. Oh, so this one, we're just looking, I just want you to convert into a percentage this table, up one cell of this table, which is good. So what percentage of overall kilowatt hours from the power department are consumed by the maintenance department? So A and B. 100 over the total here is going to give us the percentage. That's really all we're talking about. So it's not 100%, I know that. It looks like it's not 50%. It's either 20 or 25%. Looks like 150 plus 250 is 400, plus 100 is 500. So 100 over 500 is that 20%. Okay. April 27. All right. We got like 2 minutes. I think it's probably good. We can look at questions. Well, I'm going to be here, like I said, next Thursday, 12 to 2. We're Tuesday, Thursday class, 3 o'clock. 12 to 2 is the time. So I'll be here to do, if you're still working on a second attempt, you want to go over particular problems, we can do that then. All right. Well, thanks very much. I'm going to turn this all off if I can't.